Welcome, welcome, welcome to an on-site version of Democrats Live.
All right.
My name is Keith Ellison. I'm deputy chair of the DNC, and we are at Mason's Social in Alexandria. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Let's hear it for Mason's Social, right?
Social.
And we want to thank Daryl, Bernard, and Austin who are taking good care of us. You know what? We're here today with the next Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Justin Fairfax.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And as Justin knows very, very well, this boat don't float without our campaign staff who are doing it every day. We have a young staffer, hungry Adele. How you doing, Adele McClure?
I'm doing really well.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And it's great that you're here. And I just want to say one big shout out, man.
Yeah.
You know, as Adele is moving your campaign
Yes,
forward
indeed.
to victory,
Yes.
the DNC is very proud of our staffers who are here with us today.
Absolutely.
They're right back there. Give them
Love
a big
it.
hand. They're working hard every day, man. They are calling, they're knocking, they're doing what needs to be done.
Love it.
But Justin Fairfax,
Yeah.
we're a few days out.
We are.
What are we doing here, man? What do we need to be
We're
doing?
going to win this election.
I like it.
That's
I
what
like
we're
it.
doing. Ralph Northam is going to be the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Mark Herring is going to be reelected to be Attorney General. And
I
if
love
you get
it.
a chance, go and elect a guy named Justin Fairfax for
Absolutely.
Lieutenant Governor.
I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, no, he's a very good guy. But we're excited, and I want to thank you and the entire DNC for the investment that you're making in Virginia. You guys have gone all in, and I have done personally several events with you.
Yeah, we've done
And you
together.
have been all over the state. So God bless you, and thank you for what you're doing. Thank your incredible staff. And we have Adele on our team. She is a super duper organizer. She's amazing. A VCU graduate, by the way. VCU Ram 2010. She was president of her student body at VCU.
Well,
and she's amazing.
She's stepping up into leadership all
That's
over
right.
the place.
She is ready, and she's an AKA too.
Oh, well,
so
you know.
we'll shout her out on that as well. But Adele, you've been phenomenal. Thank you for being with us from the start.
Adele, tell us what's at stake here. This is like one of the first really important elections in the Trump era. And as Democrats move out to reclaim our space, how important is winning in the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Oh, it's extremely important. What's at stake is 400,000, Virginians' health care coverage, a woman's right to choose.
Oh, yeah.
We have gerrymandering in Virginia. We have, so much school to prison pipeline. We need to make sure that the children that are coming up in the next generation, are learning and not being sent into the pipeline. So there's so many different things that we need to make sure that we're doing, keeping the Virginia blue, electing Democrats across the state and across the Commonwealth, and just making sure that we hold our ideals and our values close to us by getting out and voting on the 7th. So
Getting out and voting. That sounds like a good
that's the
idea.
most important thing. Yeah.
So Justin,
Yes.
you're running for lieutenant governor.
I am.
And you have an opponent. I'm not going to say her name. She's not getting she ain't getting no
no
job on
time,
the show.
right?
But I will say she has some curious ideas about
Right.
About women's right to choose.
That's right. And she is actually the infamous sponsor of the forced transvaginal ultrasound bill. So in 2012, she sponsored a bill that would have forced most women seeking an abortion to have that procedure, which is medically unnecessary, against their will. And we've held her accountable in this election for those views and those positions. And she also has been someone who voted against the transportation bill, which was a game changer here in Virginia. And she
So that's
really,
a jobs bill that helps
That's
people
right.
get around.
It was a game changer. $6 billion we poured into our infrastructure, so jobs, and she also is against Medicaid expansion. Adele talked about it. She's blocking 400,000 Virginians from having access to high-quality, affordable health insurance. So she's wrong for Virginia, and we are proud to have been endorsed by the Washington Post
All right,
and the Daily
hey,
Press.
hey.
So that was great news for us, and we're excited about what's to come. And so again, I want to thank you all for everything that you've done. I think it's going to be a spectacular year for us this year in 2017. And in 4 days, we need everyone to come out to the polls and to vote. This is the most significant statewide election I think we've ever had in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we have to vote like this.
Well, the Washington Post, they're wise to endorse you, but that's not the only endorsement you got recently.
That's right. Honored just last night. Governor Doug Wilder
Doug
endorsed
Wilder.
us just last night, and he, of course, is the first African American ever elected to be governor in the history of the Commonwealth and of the country.
Right.
He's an incredible man. Also at the VCU Doug Wilder School, he last night had a forum and announced his endorsement. So I'm honored. He's somebody who's been a hero of mine, a trailblazing Democrat, and so we want to follow in those footsteps. And expand opportunity for people. That's really the passion of my life, is making sure more folks have a shot at the American dream, and that's what we have a chance to do in Florida.
That's who you are, man. So Adele, let me ask you this. If you're like a young person, you're not sure whether or not you totally identify with the Democratic Party, but you can't stand what these Republicans are for, and you want to do something, you know, what reason do we give them to come to us and support our ticket?
Well, if they're not very sure if they're going to identify with the Democratic Party, they can actually raise awareness around issues. So they can have issue-based forums. They can look at what the candidates, what their ideas, what their values are, and vote based on that. They don't have to necessarily identify with a party, but they can go ahead and say, hey, this candidate, he aligns, or he or she aligns with my values. He or she is doing the right thing and seems like they're going to be a genuine person, and that's who I'm going to vote for, not I'm going to vote for this particular, party, or this, or identify with this particular party. And you don't necessarily have to, go knock on doors if you don't want to, although that's important. You definitely need to do that. But you can also, you can fundraise for particular candidates. You can enter data. You can, if some things are not for you, there's something for everyone that you can do in the last 4 days.
But you know, Adele, what I say is no matter what qualms you may have had in the past, getting involved, you can make the party what you think it ought to be.
Oh, absolutely. And so you need various perspectives to get into the party to make it that way, right? Mm-hmm, if you don't like it, change it. Be the change you want to see.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Gandhi famously said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, as you have, and I don't want to tell folks your business, but you share with me that you're 28 years old.
I'm older than that, by the way.
Right. Although you don't look like it. But I think it is important, for we got to have the millennials engaged here.
Oh, yes.
How critical is it for that millennial vote to really turn out for Justin and for Ralph?
It's extremely critical because, at the end of the day, it's about you, it's about your future, and you want to ask yourself when the election is over, did I do enough?
Yeah.
Did the candidate that was selected, do they align with what I want to see? Are they the change that I want to see? Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, it's all about your decision and what you do on November the 7th. And you want to make sure that you aren't absent from that decision. And if you're not going to make that decision, someone else is going to be your voice.
I say that not voting is not a protest. Voting is a surrender.
It is. It is a surrender.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So talk about, what do you think? What's your message to young people who are thinking about voting in this election, or what do you say to them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I say often is that 100% of people who are eligible to vote in every election actually vote. So leaving voter suppression aside, if you stay home on the couch, what you're voting for is to keep the minimum wage in Virginia at $7.25 an hour.
Right.
You are voting to have Virginia be number one in the school-to-prison pipeline. You're voting to deny 400,000 people access to insurance through Medicaid expansion. You're voting to make sure that we don't change the things that we are all focused on changing. And so no one escapes accountability. And the first thing I learned at Duke University as a public policy major was that not making a decision is a decision. And it has consequences, just like every other decision.
Right.
And so we want to really spread that message that everyone's future is in their own hands. And deciding not to participate is giving that power away to someone else, and they're getting to dictate what your future is.
On the other end of the age scale, we know that seniors have a disproportionately high turnout.
Absolutely.
in non-presidential elections.
That's right.
What do you say to our seniors out there?
Yeah, well, I love our seniors. We've traveled all around the state meeting them. I've been to senior living centers, and I actually was raised by my grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
And my mom. So I have a special place in my heart for our seasoned senior members of our society.
They've been around,
and they have so much wisdom.
Yeah.
And I say what they give us is spiritual wealth. They give us values and the things that we need to be focused on. So we need to be there for our seniors in the same way that they've been there for us. And every time I've talked with them, they share many of the same concerns that we have, particularly in the post-Trump era.
Yeah.
They want us to get back to a sane politics, a place where we're respectful of one another,
right.
and we're fighting for opportunity for everyone. And this is the first generation, when you talk about the younger generation, that does not believe they're going to do as well as their parents. Well, that's the challenge of our time.
Let me just tell you, man, as a federal elected official, we've got to have a tight partnership with state leaders like
elected to Virginia.
Justin Fairfax. I love it. Adele, you tell them how to get involved. We need everybody involved. Tell them what they need to do.
So we need everyone knocking doors. We need everybody calling your friends, asking people, just call them up and say, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing the day after? You know, just kind of press them and see, you know, who you can bring out to the polls. Ask them what their plan to vote is. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Make a plan to vote. How do you plan to get to the polls? You know, how are you going to plan to bring your friends to the polls? How are you going to plan to, you know, get to work after that?
That's right.
Have you talked to your supervisor? Let them know, you know, is it okay for me to come in a little early or leave a little early? I mean, come in a little
vote.
late.
Right,
to
that's
vote.
right. That's right, to
Exactly.
vote.
So, you know, making that plan.
Adele, everybody. Thank you.
And Adele, you're great. I just wanted to shout out Minnie McClure, who is her mom.
Oh, yeah.
And her mom,
Hey,
you
Mom.
see
All
where
right,
she gets
Minnie.
it. Her mom is amazing, and she has been out there organizing and working incredibly hard. So we love
The
your whole
acorn
family.
don't fall far,
No,
does it?
not at all. And
All
Bill,
right.
too. Shout
Thank
Bill
you,
out.
Adele.
Thank
Hey,
you.
everybody.
Have a good one.
You bet. So next up, we want to invite our Virginia Minority Caucus Chair, Charniele Herring, to join us. Come on up here.
Yeah.
Chair Herring, thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for your
Charniele.
tremendous service.
How you doing?
And
Good to
also,
see you.
and Charniele, you got a friend along with you. I think
Yes.
we got Kathy Tran with us today. We are at Mason Social, everybody, right here in Alexandria. We want to show them some love as well.
Yes.
Hey, this is social.
So tell us, what is at stake for the great citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia down ballot? We know that we got some great folks at the top of the ticket, but we got to have a strong show up for the state legislative races. Talk to us about that.
Right, and what's at stake is issues that Virginians care about.
Mm-hmm.
Affordable education. Democrats have been pushing for student loan finance reform.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
A way that students
Are
don't
you guys
come out.
okay with some reform and some relief? I think so. Hey, keep working on that. We like that.
Yeah,
we
that's right.
like
We
that
keep
one.
pushing for it. It
Yeah.
keeps getting killed. More Democrats in the House chamber means that possibly those pieces of legislation can get out.
Yep.
Have a better shot. We are fighting for health care for 400,000 Virginians who have been left behind
Absolutely.
and neglected. We are fighting for paid family leave.
right.
Very important.
Yep.
So that someone can take care of their child or their aging parent. We are fighting for a raise for Virginians.
That's all right.
And
with me.
we need a raise. We need a raise.
What do you
More
guys
money
think
in the
about a raise
pocket.
for Virginia? All right. I think that one's popular too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're fighting for those bread and butter issues and making sure that Virginia is the best place to start a business, have a business, raise your family, and quality education. And
Absolutely.
we need more Democrats in the House chamber to make that happen.
Well, speaking of that, you know, Kathy, when you become a member of the House of Delegates in Virginia, you will be breaking some new ground, won't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, Keith. If elected, I would be the first Asian American woman and the first Vietnamese American elected to Virginia State Government. Yeah, we're really excited about that.
Well, I want to thank you for stepping up into this historic moment. What do you hope to achieve as a member of the House of Delegates?
Thanks. You know, I came to this country as a refugee when I was almost 2 from Vietnam.
All right.
And at the end of the war, my parents were searching to raise their family in a place that offers hope, opportunity, and freedom. And I think for me, it's making sure that we are safeguarding and advancing those values for everybody in my community in the 42nd District, as well as across the Commonwealth. So it's making sure we're investing in our public K through 12 schools, that we are growing our economy and not leaving anybody behind by investing in their skills and supporting our veterans and military spouses, making sure that we're expanding access to health care and protecting women's rights to, you know, critical reproductive health services, and that we're welcoming and inclusive. And I think things that are happening across this country and what we see in Charlottesville and the tenor of what the Republicans are doing in the gubernatorial race shows that, you know, we need to stand very strong to be inclusive of everybody in Virginia.
That is absolutely right. So, you know, I'm glad you shared your own story because, new Americans, people who've immigrated to the United States, make incredible contributions every single day in Virginia and all across this country. And I want to be part of a party that stands for that, who believes in that.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about your story. I mean, what did you do before you decided to jump into this politics thing?
So I've dedicated my entire career working to help Americans get the skills they need to succeed in their own careers. I was a civil servant at the U.S. Department of Labor, and so I got to shape national workforce policies, including helping veterans transition from the military to the civilian workforce and supporting military spouses in growing their careers, even though they move from place to place.
Sure.
And then I went and I worked with the National Immigration Forum at the intersection of immigration policy and workforce policy. So helping all Americans get the skills they need to reach their full career potential.
Bless you and thank you. So, Justin, when you become Lieutenant Governor, you're gonna need a little help, aren't you?
We're gonna need some help. And
Talk to me about how important it is to really show up big for our state legislative candidates.
It is so important, and we just have brilliant public servants here. Charniele, who has been elected for some time, has just been a champion.
Been at it for a little while.
A little while.
She's still younger than me, but she's been leading a lot longer, but she's phenomenal, and Kathy is just going to be a great delegate. I want to tell you a quick story really quickly, and Kathy is brilliant. We were classmates at Duke University.
Oh, wow.
Class of 2000, so Kathy and I. She's always been smarter than me and still is today, but it just shows you what this country is all about. We were raised in very different but difficult circumstances, each one of us, but because we got opportunity along the way, we had family who loved us and got educational opportunity, the two of us could end up being classmates at Duke University, and now on the same ballot in the Commonwealth of Virginia is what the American story is all about.
That's the story.
And that's what Democrats believe in, is what we fight for. So we're going to need more help. There are 34 great Democrats in the House of Delegates out of 100. But
we need some help.
We need some help.
We need some help.
And the good number, and Charniele has preached this, there are 17 seats currently held by Republicans that were won by Secretary Clinton and Tim Kaine last year.
We can do it.
So if you add that 17 to the 34, and I'm a lawyer, so somebody check my math, but it's 51. We would then retake the House of Delegates.
All
So
day long
these
is
races
51.
are so important.
And Keith, may I add, I'm
Sure.
incredibly proud of our candidates. We have
Tell us about some of
diversity.
these.
Yes.
The diversity is amazing for the first time, and I think maybe 43 women running for a House seat. That's incredible. 17 millennials. We have everybody from Hala Ayala, who's a cybersecurity specialist.
I met Hala Ayala the other day.
Yes.
Right, and a mother. We have new mothers. We have Jennifer Carroll Foy, who's just had twins and is just doing an amazing job.
Great.
We have Dante Tanner, who is running against actually the Republican caucus chair, and he's been incredible. So the diversity that we have on our ticket and for the House candidates is representative of Virginia.
Right.
Sure.
Male, female, white, black, Asian, Muslim faith. It's just incredible. And I think that with diversity in that chamber, we're going to have better policy making.
Absolutely.
We will not be so dismissive of ideas because it comes from the minority party.
Right.
But it would be a diversity of ideas, an exchange of ideas that's going to make strong and quality policy that we're going to be the envy of the rest of the states.
Absolutely.
They're going to
That's
look to us and say, you know what, we need all that.
And I
That's
think
right.
that would be appropriate given Virginia's historic role in leading the nation in many other ways.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you guys are talking about jobs. You're talking about health care.
right.
You're talking about fairness to consumers.
right.
You're talking about all those things that everybody, no matter what walk of life they come from, really can get behind. What
right.
brings you to this message that really puts the American family first?
Yeah, it's this story of opportunity.
Yeah.
That's really what this nation is all about. And Virginia, as you mentioned, is a special place.
Sure.
And really, if you look at the history of our Commonwealth, we have these strands that run through it. It's the place where, of course, slavery began here in America, but it's also the place that elected the first African-American governor.
It sure is.
So we always are battling to try to rise.
In
to the very ages of our
Yorktown,
nation.
the Revolutionary War was won.
Right.
Independence
Exactly.
just happened,
Exactly. In this country. So
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
have brilliant aspects of our story, and each generation has to choose which direction they're going to go in. And I am so proud of this generation of public servants and
Sure.
our millennials. They're just brilliant, and they have so much to offer. And I think we're going to have an historic set of wins on November the 7th. It's going to be really an incredible day for this nation, and I have said that I believe that Virginia will be the match that sparks the wildfire of progressive change
Oh, I like
all
that.
across the country
That
and
is
all
good.
across the
That
world,
is good.
and that's a shot that we have now in 4 days.
Absolutely.
Can I just
Sure.
add, I've had the privilege to talk to so many of my neighbors in my district located entirely within Fairfax County.
Yeah.
And I think when you ask people, what are the concerns or priorities you have for your family heading into the election? I mean, some folks have told me straight up, of all ages, right? Younger
Right.
and older voters. I've never had a candidate ask me that before.
Wow.
And
Right.
so for them to be
Right.
able to share their stories with me has been very personal, and what a privilege. But it also gets down at how do we help people better their lives? People just want to take care of their families,
Right.
save a little bit of money, maybe take care of